going to start with a granddaddy of them all, and that's Phuthuma Nathi, which is a scheme set up way back, which owns 20% of Multichoice South Africa. So we understand Multichoice, the balance, Multichoice South Africa is owned within the Naspers group. But the market value of the two classes of Phuthuma Nathi shares is 10 billion rand. So it's a pretty substantial and effective organization. Launched in 2006, that's the number I'm seeing there. We're going to try and put up a chart because these things trade on an OTC market specifically set up, and you'll see that it has done particularly well, which makes sense because the underlying businesses of, there you go. You can see it's trading 172 currently. Market cap of that thing, 10 billion, but obviously you can see there, since the last sort of year or so, they have moved sharply higher, presumably on the back of the solid trading of Multichoice itself.
Yes, most definitely. And that chart doesn't even begin to tell half of the story about how well this thing is done. I mean, you had this thing listing at about 10 odd bucks when it listed, and have a look at where it's trading right now. It's done amazingly well.
So what you're saying is if you go back properly over time, it's done much better.
It's done much better than this. I mean, you look at the rural areas out there, even in homesteads where you find there's only 2 huts. One of them is going to have a decoder up there. And the penetration into Africa has also been very much of a welcome relief to the shareholders in the scheme. And I think as a business that's really done well for its shareholders.
So we've got people buying the compact bouquet, which gives you the soccer, which gives you some of the movies. That's been a real good seller. They've subsidized the decoders so that there isn't a big hurdle in terms of getting in. And then in this business as well, you also get Supersport itself and all of its various sort of entanglements, Mnet, and then also some of the DSTV online stuff, because like Box Office, and they're launching apparently a TV streaming service to compete with Netflix.
Yes.
Well capitalized, big company's got like 30 billion rands worth of turnover. So the moral of the story here is, if you're a qualified shareholder, would you be buying them now after they've done as well as they have?
I think the future really still looks bright. The management in this business is always looking ahead. And I think, you just have to look at the number of competitors that have tried to get into this space. You know, Top TV and another 1 or 2 stations out there. They just never seem to take off. But these guys have decided instead to tailor-make low-tier packages for people who want alternatives to watching the national broadcaster. So you definitely want to be involved still, in our view.
I always say to people, when you travel internationally, you can see how bad all the other sports packages are, because if you're watching Sky, you only get like the one game and not the other. Supersport's got it all, man.
Exactly.
Because they've tied up all of those, relationships with the major media sports owners. It's unstoppable.
Absolutely.
And I'm very impressed also with the degree of financial reporting that you get from Multichoice. Nazir Wadi, the financial director, obviously doing a good job. The Phuthuma Nathi scheme, they spell it all out.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's definitely one of the schemes that I think people will still hold on to. And if you have a little bit of cash, you can still get into it. But I don't think it's going to increase by the same margin it did in the past, 8 odd years. But I think it's one of those businesses that has always seemed to be getting it right.
Okay.
I mean, many people really struggle to cancel their subscriptions, you know. And if you look at the primetime viewers, they're paying close to $1,000,
premium.
Exactly. It's amazing how these guys have caught everyone into their product.
Okay, good. So we're hot on this one.